In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on October 13, 2022, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Temple versus UCF. The Temple Owls take their 2-3 record on the road as they travel to the land of Mickey Mouse to take on the 4-1 University of Central Florida in Orlando on Thursday night. Temple comes off a 24-3 loss on Saturday to the Memphis Tigers in Memphis. The UCF Knights won their 3rd straight on Saturday with a 41-19 win over SMU at home. Temple comes into this game with a 2-3 record overall, but their last loss was an ugly one. Temple only gave up 24 points to Memphis, but the offense could only manage 3 points, and that led to the loss. Under center for Temple is E.J. Warner, and in the last game, he completed 18 of his 37 passes for 245 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. The top rusher only had 18 yards rushing, and this game is going to need to have a more balanced attack. Temple is averaging 15 points, while their defense is giving up 17 points per game. The defense is 20th in college football. On the other side of this matchup is Central Florida, which sits with a 4-1 record, and the only loss was by 6 points against Louisville. In the last game against SMU, UCF put up 41 points, and that led to the blowout victory. Under center for UCF is John Reese Plumlee, and he completed 20 of his 29 passes for 316 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wide receiver Ryan O'Keefe had a big game, catching 6 passes for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Central Florida is averaging 36 points, while their defense is giving up 15 points per game. Temple is 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 road games and 3-13 against the spread in their last 16 conference games, while the under is 4-1 in their last 5 games overall. UCF is 7-18 against the spread in their last 25 conference games and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games against a team with a losing record, while the under is 5-0 in their last 5 games following a win. The UCF Knights look to continue their winning ways on Friday night when they welcome in the Temple Owls. UCF comes into this one riding a 3-game winning streak powered behind some pretty impressive play on the offensive side of the ball. The Knights amassed 40-plus points in 2 of those games and had at least 284 rushing yards in 2 of those as well. Their defense has also played outstanding with just 15 points allowed per contest on the year. As for Temple, it is kind of on the other side of the spectrum right now. The Owls sport wins over Lafayette and Massachusetts, both fairly below average opponents. They have actually been okay on defense. They just can't seem to do much of anything offensively up to this point. Their last outing marked the 3rd time already this season in which they have been held to 14 points or fewer, and they also have yet to have a ball carrier rush for 100 yards in a game. The Owls possess one of the worst defenses in all of FBS, but it's been even worse when they play away from home. In their 2 road games, the Temple offense has a total of just 3 points and 476 yards. UCF is also arguably the best opponent that Temple has faced so far, yet this team has already lost twice by 21-plus points. The Owls have now failed to cover in 7 of their last 8 contests on the road, while UCF is a solid 5-3 against the spread in its last 8 overall. Last year's meeting resulted in a 49-7 win for the Knights, and UCF has now come away victorious in 6 straight matchups. All of those wins but one have come by at least 25 points. This meeting should see a similar outcome. Temple is coming off a game where they only scored 3 points, and UCF has one of the best defenses in all of college football. Central Florida also put up 41 points in the last game, and they are going to have no issue running up the score against Temple. Stick with the Knights, so the UCF Knights to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Temple's offense has been incredibly poor this season. They also sport one of the better scoring defenses in the country. 2 comps that work for this matchup are the Owls' games against Duke and Memphis. Both games fell short of this game total. One reason I feel confident that UCF will win, cover but stay under the total is the Knights' struggles in the red zone on offense and their efficiency in the red zone on defense. I expect a number of UCF's drives to get into Temple's red zone, but with an offensive red zone touchdown efficiency ranked at 100, they will not turn every possession possession into a score. On the other side of the ball, UCF gives up a ton of yardage, which will move the clock, but tightens up in the red zone to limit touchdowns. That will be the story of this game. I just feel more comfortable backing UCF's defense to keep a terrible Temple offense in check, rather than trust UCF to rally the troops offensively and to run it up on Temple when we've seen the Owls' defense step up in spots, and we've also seen UCF falter against Louisville. Am I liking Temple and Louisville? No, I'm not, but I believe that we see a low-scoring battle here, and for this game to stay well below the number, look for a score in the 28-0 or 31-3 range. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Baylor versus West Virginia. The West Virginia Mountaineers will host the Baylor Bears on Thursday night in a Big 12 conference matchup. Both of these teams are 3-2 against the spread, and the over-under is 3-2 in their games this year. Last season, Baylor beat West Virginia 45-20 as a 1-point home favorite. The Baylor Bears are 3-2 this season after they lost to Oklahoma State by a score of 36-25 in their last game. Baylor outgained Oklahoma State by a total of 457-379. But turned the ball over twice and had 2 turnovers on downs in the loss. The Baylor offense is averaging 37 points per game with 248.4 passing yards per game and 187.8 rushing yards per game. Blake Shapen has thrown for 1,118 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions for the Bears this season. Richard Reese has rushed for 400 yards and 7 scores, while Monterey Baldwin has caught 12 passes for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns for Baylor. The Baylor defense is giving up 21 points per game and 320 yards per game. The West Virginia Mountaineers are 2-3 this season after they lost to Texas by a score of 38-20 in their last game. West Virginia fell behind 28-0 in the second quarter and was never able to dig out of the hole in this game. The West Virginia offense is averaging 38 points per game with 268.6 passing yards per game and 186.2 rushing yards per game. JT Daniels has thrown for 1,209 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions for the Mountaineers this season. CJ Donaldson has rushed for 389 yards and 6 scores, while Bryce Ford Wheaton has caught 35 passes for 412 yards and 4 touchdowns for West Virginia. The West Virginia defense is allowing 30 points per game and 331.4 yards per game. The Bears are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 on turf and 13-5 in their last 18 overall. Baylor is 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 Thursday games. Meanwhile, the Mountaineers are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 Thursday games and 10-3-1 against the spread in their last 14 at home. West Virginia is 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 on turf. The Baylor Bears take on the West Virginia Mountaineers in a Thursday night matchup. Baylor has looked surprisingly good this season after most experts had it projected for a down year after winning the Big 12 in 2021. The Bears are coming off a heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma State at home last week and are looking to bounce back. West Virginia has losses to Pitt and Kansas, which were not expected but reasonable after seeing how good those teams are this season. The Mountaineers will get the Bears at home and look to get back to .500 on the season. These teams have looked very similar through 5 weeks. Both have good offenses led by first-year quarterback, who are performing well. Both have good defenses that are holding teams to fewer than 340 yards per game. Both have coaches who have had winning seasons in this conference. The difference is that Baylor has just been better at all these things. They know how to win football games under third-year head coach Dave Aranda, who went 12-2 last season. Despite having lost 2 games in 2022, they have looked competitive and had a chance to win every game they have been in this season. The same cannot be said for West Virginia, whose best season is 6 wins under head coach Neil Brown. West Virginia is 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games against Big 12 opponents. This will be an interesting matchup, with both teams coming off open weeks. The Bears looked pretty good in their last outing versus Oklahoma State, posting 457 total yards and 6.5 yards per play. Baylor posted a couple of interceptions and a paltry 3-of-1 run on third down tries though. As for West Virginia, they were outclassed by Texas in their last game but still put up a respectable 22 first downs, 0 turnovers, and a 9-of-18 rate on third downs. I like the Mountaineers to keep the pace for most of this game before Baylor eventually ekes into a cover and takes care of business. Should be fun one though, so the Baylor Bears to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Baylor combined for 55 points against Iowa State and for 61 points against Oklahoma State, whereas West Virginia combined for 82 points with Kansas before overtime and for 58 points with Texas. Despite these teams having good defenses, they both have let up some points this season. Baylor only allows 20 points per game, but that number is a little skewed by 2 FCS games. If you take those games out, Baylor allows 29 points per game, the same amount as West Virginia, which faced a tougher out-of-conference schedule. These offenses know how to score as well. They both average more than 430 yards and 37 points per game. Both of these teams have hit the over in 3 of their 5 games played this year, and the head-to-head matchup has gone over on 6 of the last 10 occasions. West Virginia is 14th in the nation running 78 plays per game, and Baylor is 53rd running 72.3 plays per game, so expect an up-tempo battle. When also factoring in that neither defense has been great at forcing turnovers, expect there to be plenty of scoring opportunities for both sides. Even with a 52% chance of rain in the forecast, both of these teams are balanced offensively and do an excellent job of running the ball. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.